Yeah, Doug and Janice, police still here. They first arrived to this area at Oakview Apartments right after 1 o'clock this afternoon. When they got here, they found a 24-year-old woman dead in an apartment with multiple gunshot wounds. Now, if I step out of the way, you can still see a heavy police presence here. Over the past 2 years, the city of Wyoming has seen an uptick in violent crime, and the Public Safety Department believes with pictures of license plates, they can cut down on that. This water level is nowhere near where it was earlier today, and that's what caused all of this. You can just see the power it had, taking every car in its path, sending one into that storefront over there. I want to take a look at the damage that was left behind. It's kind of mind-blowing to see, but almost every storefront on this block, the windows have been shattered out. You can see all of the stuff inside these stores now piled up against this door, everything damaged. We hear so much about partisan bickering, but what happens when you take the lawmakers out of DC and bring them to maybe an apple orchard? You start to build some bipartisan relationships, and that's what the Congressional Exchange Program aims to do. Now, here in Grand Rapids, hundreds of people coming out for a one-stop shot at getting that clean slate and a new lease on life. Before midnight tonight, they're expected to take the stage behind me at AV Flight here in Grand Rapids, where they'll be greeted by thousands of supporters here who are coming out in the blustery wind and pretty cold weather to show their support as the president caps his campaign off in Kent County. The 14 House members from Michigan, only 2, Representatives Bill Huizenga and Tim Walberg, haven't voted remotely this year. Topping the list, Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence of Southfield, who's done it about 20 times. We reached out to her office to figure out why and still haven't heard back. Now, for a member of the House to vote remotely, all they have to do is sign one of these letters that say they are unable to attend House proceedings because of the ongoing public health emergency. Well, we found out that's not always the case. It's surreal to be standing here on what's left of Wixom Lake. Just last week, I'd be standing in water, but as you can see now, it's just all sand and mud. And when the dam gave out and the levees broke, we're told that the water filled up so quickly, flooding this area, and just like that, it was gone. Our Fox 17 Skyview camera shows the barren remains of Wixom Lake, a surreal landscape that looks like views of a different planet.
It was like an hour and it was like a sandbar.
Sophia Thompson lives on the lake and was here with family when the Edenville Dam gave out.
The water was rushing really fast and we were trying to hold on to our boats. We have a 32-foot boat and a pontoon boat, and we held on to them with dog leashes. Thompson says the water rose rapidly up to her and her neighbors' homes, many of those damaged in the process. Not too long after, the lake was drained. It was just coming up rapidly. It was fast, and there was nothing you can do.
Millions of gallons of water, enough to fill 32,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools, rushed south, filling neighborhoods in Midland County.
No one could imagine this. This is the worst thing ever.
The village of Sanford among the worst hit, the entire downtown decimated by several feet of water and the debris that came with it. Business owners got their first look at what's left on Thursday.
This is a hunk of my life gone.
Connie Metner has owned this salon for 34 years. In a matter of hours, it was destroyed. Pictures of her kids.
I saved it.
Were the only things she was able to salvage.
I've cried a lot of tears. It's not just me. It's everybody here. They're all friends of mine. We're all acquaintances. We all do business back and forth. We all hope each other well. The hardware got hit. Lanny's is a landmark. So is the Red O. If we don't get help for all of us, Sanford's gone. I don't know how Sanford could do it.
There's going to be an extensive recovery effort across this area. As for what's next for Wixom Lake here, that hasn't been determined, but neighbors we spoke with say we're taking it just one day at a time. And amazingly, thankfully, after all this destruction, no deaths have been reported. Live in Wixom Lake, Aaron Parseghian, Fox 17 News.
Yeah, that is the good.
Yeah, Derek, at the start of this pandemic, Long Road Distillers here in downtown Grand Rapids was one of the many small businesses to step up, change their production, and start making hand sanitizer to help fill a growing need. Now, out of nowhere, they're being hit with a $14,000 fee from the FDA, capping off an already brutal year. It was a point of pride for local distillers early on in the pandemic. While they were hampered like most industries, they found a way they could still help.
You know, our members and distillers across the country just shifted operations to do the right thing to help people.
The feds made it easier for distillers like Long Road to make hand sanitizer, and they did in droves. Now, 9 months later, it could cost them more than $14,000 for helping out. It's because distillers who wanted to help had to register as an over-the-counter drug producer with the FDA.
We believe it was part of the most recent CARES Act that was passed. The FDA included a fee for over-the-counter drug manufacturers.
If local distillers are forced to pay the $14,000, O'Connor says it could be a death blow for even more small businesses.
We understand the severity of this pandemic, and trying to do the right thing. And it would be really unfortunate for those of us that stepped up to do the right thing to try to help. If that $14,000 fee was the thing that might be the end of it all.
O'Connor said he's already been in talks with local lawmakers to see if there's any way to resolve this. In the meantime, they've already halted production on hand sanitizer, and they're unregistering from the FDA so they don't get hit with the same fee come 2021. Live in Grand Rapids, Aaron Parseghian, Fox 17 News. We hear so much about partisan bickering, but what happens when you take the lawmakers out of D.C. and bring them to maybe an apple orchard? You start to build some bipartisan relationships, and that's what the Congressional Exchange Program aims to do.
This is fantastic.
From Steelcase to Herbrucks and then Robinettes.
All of our fruit that we grow on the farm, we sell right here.
Democratic Minnesota Congresswoman Angie Craig wasn't at home, but West Michigan certainly felt familiar.
We're not that different. And I know we talk about our differences across this country, but, I've been here today and I've already heard a number of concerns about supply chain issues, about workforce issues. It's the same concerns in my congressional district.
That realization, one of the main takeaways from her tour of Michigan's 3rd Congressional District, alongside Republican Congressman Peter Meyer.
One of the benefits of this exchange program is you get to compare and contrast. You get to find similarities, see differences, see ways that communities approach, maybe similar problems but in different ways, but also get to understand that interlay. And I think as federal officials, that makes us more effective at our jobs because we're not just going from our own experience, but able to leverage that of others as well.
And we focused on getting better with cage-free production. And
sometimes it takes getting out of the nation's capital to build effective working relationships that can help to break partisan gridlock.
I think we're better legislators when we're 1,000 miles away from Washington every single time because, the truth is my leadership, Republican leadership, they don't really want us to get to know each other, to become friends, to work together. They'd rather keep us politically divided, at least mine would. So I think the time we spend together, we look for opportunities to work together in the future. And I think that's really important for us to get back to that in this country.
Organizers say the program that brought these two lawmakers together has been effective.
The most rewarding part of it, Aaron, is that we're finding that members come back from these trips and they actually, believe it or not, start working together.